Welcome back to another episode of Kavanaugh's Corner. Today in the channel, I'm going to be talking about a film that I picked up during the Kino Lorber sale. Last week, I talked about To Live and Die in LA, and this week, we're going to be covering an extremely different cop film. Last week was The Secret Service. This one is the only way I can really describe it is this is pretty much the most insane, completely just nutty macho cop movie like ever made, and that is Stone Cold. And this is directed by Craig R. Baxley, who's also famous for directing Action Jackson with Carl Weathers. And this movie is just, as I mentioned, it is out and out insane. I mean, right from the get-go, this movie just starts. It goes from 0 to 100 and very rarely lets up. There are some really fantastic action sequences in this. One big thing that I really love about this movie is that it does not shy away about being completely brutal with its violence. It's very in your face. The entire movie just has this grimy look to it, and it really lends a lot to the whole biker gang theme that Brian Bosworth, as the main character of the film, he plays John Stone, or Joe Huff is his real name, and he goes undercover as kind of like a liaison to the FBI to take down this biker gang that is led by Lance Hendrickson. And Lance Hendrickson is completely off the wall in this movie, as well as William Forsythe, that plays like his right-hand man. Another really, really whacked out performance by William Forsythe in this. The only other time I can think of that crazy of a performance is also from William Forsythe, when he played the bad guy in Out for Justice, which is another just completely wild action film that I really enjoy, kind of strangely enough, even though Steven Seagal is definitely it takes a lot to be desired, but that movie is a guilty pleasure of mine, and so is this. This is one of these movies where I kind of categorize it as not only just a guilty pleasure, but it's a so bad it's good movie. It's really well done, but there are just some absolutely ridiculous moments in this film, starting from the completely over-the-top supermarket holdup that the film starts with, all the way to the completely crazy storming of a Capitol building at the end of this. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that that was a completely insane scenario, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. It's a fun watch, for me at least. It's a really fun watch. It's almost like an 80s action movie made in the early 90s is really the best way to describe it. But the action, as I mentioned, it's hard-hitting, it's in your face, it's brutal, but it is very entertaining if you're up for a movie like this. So I saw that this got a new 2K remaster here from Kino Lorber. Today on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing the picture quality, the audio quality, as well as the special features, because this actually comes with a ton of new special features that are really, really fascinating. And I'll talk about those later in the video. If you're new to the channel here, I have been doing this now for quite a few number of years. I review standard Blu-rays like this. I review 4Ks mainly. And if you're, a fan of this kind of thing, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, because a lot of you guys that watch this video aren't subscribed, and I'm really trying to grow the channel. So I greatly appreciate it. And also make sure you hit that bell icon so you can be notified when my next video comes out. So anyway, to jump back right into the review here, the picture quality on this, as I mentioned, is an all-new 2K scan, and it is really, really good. I was actually really impressed by the detail level on this disc. There is a fine layer of grain throughout the film. It definitely has been cleaned up since the last time I saw it. But the colors on this, even though it's just a standard Blu-ray, it's really impressive. Reds, blues, The really bright scenes are very, very nice to look at now. Colors overall have been massively improved from previous transfers. The detail level is really sharp on this as well. You can really see little detail levels and like Lance Hendrickson's like mustache and beard and long hair, and of course Brian Bosworth's just absolutely killer mullet in this movie. There's a lot of ripped jeans and leather in this film, and I actually was really surprised at one point to be able to make out the missing Guess jeans tag that is on the back of one of the pockets of Brian Bosworth's jeans in one scene. And I was really surprised to be able to pick that up on a standard Blu-ray. But watching this upscaled to 4K was really, really fantastic. And the bright scenes look fantastic. The nighttime scenes, however, look really, really good on this. There was some black crush here and there in the really, really dark nighttime scenes. One scene in particular where there's like this deal going on with a large tractor trailer, and there was very little black crush in those scenes, but overall the black levels are really, really good on this disc, and the shadow detail has been greatly improved since the last time I saw this film. So really good transfer here from Kino Lorber. My only complaint is I think there could have been a lot more detail, a lot better visuals if they just did a 4K scan. And I don't know if that's because they didn't want to bother with a 4K on this one because they didn't want to put it out on 4K, or maybe just the budget wasn't there for it. I don't know. But to have a 2K scan in a world where pretty much everything is scanned in 4K, even for standard Blu-ray, it's kind of a shame, but I am glad that we got this in a much better picture quality than we had before, because let me tell you, the explosions in this movie are unbelievable looking now. Even without HDR or anything, watching this upscaled to 4K, some of those action scenes just really jump out at you, but you can also kind of tell when they're using stunt doubles on the motorcycle chases and stuff. So it's a give and take there, but overall, I think this is a really, really good transfer here from Kino Lorber. Now, in terms of audio quality, this comes with the DTS HD Master Audio stereo track. It's just a 2.0 stereo, but the audio is really solid. It's definitely the original stereo track in just DTS HD, but it sounded really, really good. The audio was crystal clear throughout. I didn't have to play with the volume. The music sounded great. There's a lot of really like crazy guitar riffs and stuff in this film, and it was great. I mean, the gunshots and all the sound effects and things like that sounded fantastic. The big explosions were booming. I mean, it really does the job. It really sounds fantastic. Do I wish that they had a 5.1 on this? Yeah, I kind of wish they did. I think it would have sounded even better. But again, we got the original, audio track on here, and it sounded great. It sounded really, really good, and I have no complaints about it. I just wish they could have done a little bit more in that audio department. Now, as for the special features, this is where this disc really gets exciting. There is an audio commentary by action film historians Mike Leader and maybe Arne, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Venemia, and that is a really interesting audio track where they talk about the production of the film and just where this movie sits in the action movie genre in general. And the most interesting one to me was there is a new interview with Brian Bosworth where he talks about his entrance to Hollywood from being a football player, going to Hollywood, becoming an actor, and actually reveals some really interesting secrets behind the scenes of this film. It's a really solid interview, and I think he did a great job with it. It's actually probably one of the best one-on-one type interviews from the star of a film that I've seen in quite a while. He's very open and honest about the film, and I really liked the way he handled it. I think he did a really good job. His acting in this film, again, it's definitely no Oscar-worthy performance, but he plays this big hulking, badass type guy, and he does the job. I mean, he does the job. He has some pretty funny one-liners, and you can kind of believe that he would be buyable in this scenario, as crazy as the movie is. He sells it, and it works because of who this guy is or was at the time. There is also another interview here with Lance Hendrickson, and that interview is I don't want to say as entertaining, but he also talks about the production of the film and playing this big over the top bad guy. It's very interesting. There's an interview with actress Arabella Holzbog. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Who plays Lance Hendrickson's like wife in the movie, and she plays a really interesting yet tragic character. If you've seen the movie, you know what that means. And there's also an interview with actor Sam McMurray, who plays, in my opinion, probably the best character in this film. And if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Sam plays a lot of like agents and like straight man type cops and stuff in movies. And he has a really good part in this movie, and I love his character. It's such an interesting character. I almost kind of wish they would make a movie just about his character, because I would watch it. It would probably be like a really funny movie, but I digress. There's also a ton of theatrical trailers and TV spots on this as well, also from other Kino Lorber releases. So overall, what do I have to say about Stone Cold? I would say that if you're a fan of this film, you're going to love this new Blu-ray. The special features are just icing on the cake. The movie looks fantastic. It sounds really good. I had no complaints. It's just a completely wacky, guilty pleasure of mine. And it probably is for some of you watching this video too. I just wish that they had done a 4K scan of this, because I think the picture quality would be even better than what it is. But it's pretty solid for what we got, and it's definitely the best this movie has ever looked. If you want to pick up this crazy action movie, Stone Cold, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can grab that on Amazon, and that also does benefit the channel greatly if you use that link. And as I mentioned earlier, definitely hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel below if you'd like to see more reviews of physical media releases like this. It's pretty much all I do here now, so I'd really appreciate it. And of course, I want to say thank you all for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. I wish you all the best. Please stay safe. And until next time, take it easy.